Hi folks, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me. So we've got another nice cheap set of darts to look at today, and I picked these up for the princely sum of £12.95 including delivery. I actually bought them alongside some Phil Taylor 80% tungsten darts that I reviewed recently, so do check that video out as well. But as I say, these were just £12.95 and it's a 22 piece set from Target. Obviously they're branded or made in conjunction with the great Luke Littler. So what do you get then? Well, it says it's a 22 piece set, and with it we get brass darts. Not going to get tungsten for that kind of money, but having said that, they are finished in silver with a nice purple detail in there as well, in kind of conjunction with Luke. And you also get lots of stems and flights and things as well. We'll take a quick look at that now actually. So I've already opened the box and this is what you get inside. So you've got the usual Target vinyl sort of tri-fold wallet, and we'll open this up. I have actually briefly thrown these darts, that's why I wanted to sort of show you and tell you about them. And as I say, you get 3 sets of flights, so you get some nice purple ones with the Target logo just in there. Also the same for the yellow, and then something a bit more sort of traditional Luke Littler, the Nuke flights there as well. In terms of the stems that you get a set of purple, black and yellow pro grips, so decent stems as well, although these ones are the sort of dual colour with the kind of matte end to them or satin end to them, and there's no rings on there or anything like that. So I think these are the slightly cheaper ones that are sent out in these sort of mixed kits as it were. But notwithstanding that, let's take a look at the darts themselves, and they actually come in a nice little Target branded point holder, and you can see the darts just there. So nothing really like Luke Littler darts, to be honest. Now I did say this about the Phil Taylors on the ones I reviewed a day or two ago, and that is that the Phil Taylors are actually a straight barrel, which is unusual for him. And if you know Luke Littler's traditional darts, they are actually more of a straight barrel, whereas these are more of a bomb shape design. So maybe they got them kind of mixed up a little bit, I'm not sure, but here we go. So let's just take a quick look at one of these then, and I'll put that to one side. And essentially we've got a 26mm plain black point on there. It's not a Swiss point or anything at this price point, pardon the pun. And yeah, it's got a nice ball nose, and that will help sort of not to stick on the flight as it goes past. You know, you've got a decent ball nose on the end of the barrel just there. In terms of the grip, there's a few kind of very thin grips on there, and then a deeper section which isn't too grippy actually, maybe a 2 out of 5, 2.5 out of 5. Then you've got a small section with the Target logo laser etched, and then as it sort of tapers towards the rear, we've got some more sort of ring cuts just along there. And again, not terribly grippy, just maybe 2 out of 5, maybe not even that, to be honest, especially as they are painted, and I'd imagine that paint actually kind of fills up quite a lot of the well between those cuts just there. So I guess overall, low to moderate grip at the rear, and probably the same to the front. Now, as I say, I have thrown these darts, and not for long admittedly, but the first thing I noticed was that they're just really nice. I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm getting more and more kind of used to the fact that the cheap darts really aren't bad. You know, they used to get quite a bad rep, and these are quite attractive darts. You know, they're sort of silver coloured, even though they're brass, so they don't look like brass darts. They've got some nice colour that sort of relates to the player. You've got a nice little set here. Now the barrels themselves are pretty chunky. I'm just going to get my calipers out actually. Excuse all the clattering and banging, but I just thought whilst I'm talking to you here, I will actually get the caliper out and measure one of these for you. So just to check the barrel length, we are looking at something like, as I say, 25mm, 26mm, something of that order. The barrel itself is around, it's just an approximation here, around 59.7, 60 millimeters long, something like that. And at its widest point, as I say, they're quite chunky because they're 22 grams. Yeah, its widest point, look, it's 8.6 millimeters wide. So they are quite chunky. And as you'd expect, obviously being a 22 gram dart, you've got to get the mass into that, and being brass, which is significantly less heavy per sort of size than tungsten, you're going to end up with quite a big barrel. So anyway, that's the 3 darts just there. So as I say, I did throw them, and first thing I noticed is that they flew really, really nicely. I tried them with some number 6 flights to start with, and they were flying quite straight, and the grouping was kind of looking quite nice. I'll show you a few examples of that now. And as I say, that was with a number 6. So the ones that come with it are actually a number 2. But I wanted to keep the original stems and flights as part of the kit here. I didn't want to damage them or mark them up too much. So I then replaced the tail end with a Target Pro Grip in short. Again, pretty much the same as what would come with the kit. And indeed a number 2 Target Flight. Again, what would come with the kit. So it's basically standard spec, just a different colour. And within just literally 2 minutes of putting that tail end on, it helped the group in a bit, and this happened. $180. Just excuse the vibrations and noise while I take this off the camera mount. And there it is, guys. That's taken about 5 minutes. And even though they are large, large barrels, I got to laugh because I can't believe I've managed that, to be fair. But yeah, so it just goes to show that quite chunky barrels and short points, the job can still get done. And that's actually not too shabby, to be fair. So in terms of the setup, these are basically, it's all Target. We've got the Pro Grip stems, and I've got number 2 flights on there as well. And yeah, there we go. Nice. Look at this. Happy days. Really pleased with that. So there's the Luke Littler darts. I can't remember what these were now, but mega cheap ones. And anyway, listen, enough of me yibby yabbering. I'll throw you back to the studio, as they say. And yeah, there we go. 180. Happy days. So there you go then, guys. It just goes to show that having a big chunky barrel, as long as it flies well, is well balanced and is predictable and consistent, it's surprising what you can do with it. So I mean, for £12.95, admittedly I think these were on sale. They're normally maybe £16 or £17, something like that. But I tell you what, if you're on a low budget, you wouldn't go far wrong with these. These are really good darts. I think the most important thing that I would take away from this is they are actually fun. I didn't throw them for very long, but they were the kind of darts that were quite inviting and really wanted you to throw more. So yeah, they were a pleasure. I've enjoyed throwing these, and I don't think this will be the last time I throw them. So yeah, if you're on the lookout for some budget darts that you're not too worried about, whether or not they're tungsten or what have you. If you want a little kit that will last you for a while, you've got spare stems, you've got spare flights, for £12.95 I'd go and grab a box, to be honest. So thanks very much indeed for watching. I'll be back soon with more, but please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you again soon. So thanks again, and all the best for now. Bye bye.